Yeah, thank you very much. That's very interesting debate, and it's, I think, all the question of reform in Islam and reformist schools since the last century and a half has been about this main question, and the Arab Spring, in my thought, has to go through this. And in case they don't solve it, I mean, this Arab thought, and if it doesn't come up with a model of its own, because there is no model yet for it, so it has to make its own way. And if it does not and follows just the ready-made model, then it has wasted at least 1 century and a half since, let's say, Afghani's movement, Arab Renaissance, and then, of course, Sayyid Khan in Asia, etc. So at least since the 150 years, this debate has been ongoing, whether what model to adopt, whether pure modern in which the metaphysical is kind of debated, or still keep just the traditional, while the spiritual is dominated, but still in orthodox way, where the reason has been put aside for a while, though in tradition it's there. So this dilemma, we have seen it because there is no social scientific methodology describing it. We have seen not only in the West, but also sometimes in the Arab world, let's say, where this Arab Spring has started, people trying to categorize it. Is it Islamist? Or who is kind of hijacking the movement? No, it's just the youth. They have no particular background there. But there is a kind of serious fallacy there. If you say that, no, there is just people talking about just justice, but yeah, that justice has kind of some reference. Of course, at the same time, we should not be quick and jumping and modeling it. And I like Johan's note before on warning. We should try to avoid. You're also saying we should not define and we should not model. But at the same time, because there is kind of pressure and a debate, and then it's philosophical debate, how to describe the Arab Spring and which way it has to lead. And with the locals, as I said before, some just trying to describe it quickly, where it's either or, and then if it is so, if it has to follow just one, let's say, between brackets, and has so many denotations, the modern model, then it seems that we have wasted again at least 150 years of debating it, and now we jump to the conclusion, and then we fall into the idea, well, it's the hand of history. No, there is no other model to think of, just to follow one. And then this brings us to the question of, there are now Islamists saying, well, there is an alternative, which is, and not only the Islamic world, we still don't hear a lot from Latin America, and now there is also Asia coming economically, but the cultural debate will follow. If it's just China coming economically, and India, Brazil, but then follows afterwards some philosophical debate then. So the question of the modern comes into debate again and imposes in itself, and brings us to the idea that there are possible modernities, and it's where the subject plays a role. And I like some who speak about the subject, especially in the Islamic tradition, where he speaks about mediated subjectivity, where the subject thinks of his autonomy. He can think alone, he can be free, but at the same time he can think in a metaphysical way, and that has to do with the educational system we have, and etc. So it's all about how we think about the whole system as such, and how we give space to each. I try to.
Okay. My simple answer is that the common man in the traditional societies, he may not even have heard the word metaphysics or religion. He lives it. I think that the modern world must let the traditional world prosper and give them an opportunity to reform themselves from within the ideals of their own tradition and accept different forms of cultures. And it is in the acceptance of the different forms of culture that there will be a unity. And the last point is that this is writing on the wall, that if the principle of spirituality is denied, there cannot be any peace in the world. You may call it globalization, You may call it a new form of spirituality. Unless the principle of unity is there, the talk of humanity will never be materialized. Thank you very much.